Hi guys, praise the Lord. I am King Ori and welcome again to our weekly sermons. And today's sermon comes from the book of 2 Kings from chapter 4 verses 1 to 7. It's about the widow's olive oil. I am glad to be here once again, and I'm glad that you're watching. It is my prayer that you will grab something from this sermon. And I'm reading from NIV version, and it reads, "The wife of a man from the company of the prophets cried out to Elisha, 'Your servant, my husband, is dead. And you know that he revered the Lord, but now his creditor is coming to take my 2 boys as his slaves.' Elisha replied to her, 'How can I help you? Tell me, what do you have in your house?' 'Your servant has nothing there at all,' she said, 'except a small jar of olive oil.' Elisha said, 'Go around and ask all your neighbors for empty jars. Don't ask for just a few. Then go inside and shut the door behind you and your sons. Shut the door behind you and your sons. Pour oil into all the jars, and as each is filled, put it to one side.' Verses 5. She left him and shut the door behind her and her sons. They brought the jars to her, and she kept pouring. When all the jars were full, she said to her son, 'Bring me another one.' But he replied, 'There is not a jar left.' Then the oil stopped flowing. Verse 7. She went and told the man of God, and he said, 'Go sell the oil and pay your debts. You and your sons can live on what is left.'" As we ponder about those verses, what can you see? What can you see from those verses? According to my perception, I saw a believer. I saw a woman who was crying, a woman full of faith. She's in a situation, but there's faith in her. I can see a family of a widow and 2 sons. A woman in scarcity or in lack, and also a woman in pain. We can also see a worried woman. You remember, she's worried about the creditor who is coming to take his sons to replace the debt that the husband left. I can also see a man of God in Elisha. There are neighbors around that woman. I can also see a jar of oil and borrowed ones, the ones that she was asked to go and borrow from the neighbors. We can also recognize a responsible man of God who takes the initiative to empower this widow, because he put the responsibility on the woman to go and look for jars, and this was an act of faith from Elisha also. I want us to learn something this evening. I want us to learn that this widow, she was in a kind of a danger, because she had scarcity, of oil and so many other things, and she was uncertain of what could happen to her. Maybe you are there, you think that you have nothing. I want you to understand that there is always something that God has given you to make into use. The woman thought that she only had a little oil, but look at that little oil. It brought more oil. She thought that her means of income had dried up because of the death of her husband. She was a struggling woman. She was in danger of losing income because of the loss of the husband. She was also she was worried that she could, or she might lose the sons to the creditor. This woman, not only did she had nothing, but she had less than nothing, according to her thought. We find that even in that less than nothing situation, she discovered she had something that she could use to make something out of that nothingness. Sometimes we think that losing a job or lacking a job is the end of everything. But I'm sure there is something that God has placed in your hands that you can make use of, and things start rolling. Sometimes we think that we have nothing. Even life itself is something. You can make something out of the life that God has given you. Even though you don't have that job, you don't have that husband, you don't have that wife, but life in itself, you can make something out of this life. Sometimes we just need to take responsibility, as Elisha took. He took responsibility. He empowered that woman. We need to empower, or to be empowered with the little things that we think are so little that they are nothing. We think they are nothing, yet they are everything. Elisha empowered this widow to take the responsibility. Remember the two questions that Elisha asked. He asked the woman, what can I do for you? And he asked another question, what do you have? And I ask you who is watching over there, what do you have in your hand? You remember the story of Moses. Moses was asked what he had in his hands. He had a stick that struck the rock, and the rock, water gushed out of the rock. What do you have? I know and I believe that you have something within you that can bring about the change that you think that cannot come. You think you have reached your dead end, yet you have everything that you need within you. As I finish, and we'll continue this sermon next Sunday, look around. You've got something within your reach that can make things start to happen. May God bless you so much. Ponder with on that chapter 4, 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 1 to 7. And next Sunday we will dig or delve deeper into that sermon, into that those verses. May God bless you so much. See you next time. Bye bye.